Hello, everybody. Phil here. So a popular YouTube video format is a top 5 video. Top 5, whatever. The thing about top 5 videos are that, people like them because they're looking for a shortcut generally to figure something else out. Some are educational, some are valuable. A lot of them I think are kind of a waste of time, frankly. So what I'm going to do today is waste some of your time. We've come up with a way to make a top 5 video that is in a format that I don't hate. And the way it's going to work is my friend and producer Thomas is going to just throw top 5 list titles, my way, and I'm going to have to come up with a list on the fly, and I will do my best to make it somewhat educational or interesting, but no promises. So without further ado, here is the top 5.
All right, Phil. So top 5 poker mistakes you're making.
Okay. That's not that bad of a top 5. That's a pretty good top 5. So top 5 poker mistakes you're making. Number 1 is easy. Number 1 is you're not thinking about why you make the plays that you make. So perhaps you read a pre-flop chart and it says, open ace jack plus from this position and pocket nines are better and king queen suit, whatever. And you're doing that. And then you get to the flop and you flop a pair and you just bet. And then the turn comes and you just bet. And if I sat you down and asked you, why did you bet the flop? You'd say, well, because I had top pair, or well, because I raised pre-flop. And what's important is you start thinking about the purpose of all of your bets and raises, what they're trying to accomplish. And it goes back to pre-flop. The whole game starts pre-flop, and it starts from the blinds and or the antes. If there were no blinds or antes, there's no reason to play any hand that's not aces, which makes for a really boring game because you can just wait for aces and never lose any money. But the blinds and antes give you something to fight over. So why you play a hand pre-flop is in part to win the blinds, and then to open with a range of hands that, because people are forced to fight for the blinds, they can defend hands that you can get value against, etc. Wow, there's a fly in here. I have to kill the fly.
No flies.
It's right on the mic too. All right, I'm gonna get a fly. Okay, so back to the question. I was talking about point 1, which was think about why you're doing what you're doing. And I said starting from pre-flop, there's reasons for playing all the hands that you play. And then going on to post-flop, are you betting because you want to get value? You want to get called by a worse hand? Are you betting because you want to fold out a worse hand than yours or a hand with equity against yours? And then as you progress through the hand, there are a lot of things to think about. And your thinking can start out on a beginner level. It'll get more advanced the more you play. But the most important thing is that you are thinking. And you could answer that question if I asked you, why did you do that? It doesn't matter at the beginning if your answers are terrible and your plays are terrible. If you're thinking about why you're doing what you're doing, you're on the path towards getting better. So that's 1. Number 2 follows from 1 pretty closely. And it's you're not thinking about why your opponent is doing what they're doing. So a lot of people will, maybe they know like, okay, this guy plays every hand. So you can get reads on your opponents. But go further than that. Think about why they're making the plays that they're making and whether they are a strong player with a very conscious, logical thought process, or a weak player with, some kind of maybe base framework of a strategy and then a lot of emotional leaks that lead to their decisions. Or really, when you don't have a sound strategy, your decisions are ultimately guided by emotion, whether you know it or not. And so thinking about, this player is making this bet. What does he hope to accomplish? And why does he want to accomplish that? And from there, as you get more advanced, you think, okay, well, this just happened. I saw this player do this and this. So it seems like, maybe they're afraid to play a big pot with a marginal hand, or it seems like they're maybe really excited to bluff a lot. And so you can start to get a kind of a psychological profile is making it out to be more than it is. But that's what I came up with. So you're starting to build a psychological profile for these unsubs, and that'll help you kind of figure out, why they're making the decisions they make as you go on, and how you can adjust to that. So that's 1 and 2. That was easy. 3. I guess I'll follow on from 2. 3 is that you're making decisions purely out of emotion. A lot of people make decisions out of fear. A lot of people make decisions out of comfort. I would say comfort is the number one. We're moving on to the top 5 types of emotions that make people make bad plays. But comfort is the number one thing that kind of dictates the way that people play their hands, and people are comfortable with different things. And that's why it's important to get to know them. But a lot of people will, for example, overplay a good hand early because they're afraid of a scary turn card coming, when what they should do is, bet a smaller amount, perhaps slow play based on, what the board texture is and what the action is. And yes, that means they might end up losing the hand because that scary card might come and it might improve their opponent. But mathematically, on average, what happens more often is that they gain more value when they have the best hand. And so there are a lot of things like that where people, just rush to make the comfortable play, whether it be, I have the best hand now, I'm going to take down the pot, and that's all I want. I just want to win the hand. Or similarly, even if you're bluffing, like some people get really attached to raising and c-betting, or c-betting like middle pair when they should be checking, because it's really comfortable to c-bet. They bet and their opponent calls, then they can kind of shut down. Their opponent raises, they can fold. Their opponent folds, great, they win the pot. But you're not accomplishing as much. You're not getting as much money from weaker hands, and you're not folding out any stronger hands. So try to become aware of your emotions and stop making plays strictly based on them. Number 4, you're playing outside of your means. A lot of people way underestimate variance in poker, and are playing games where they have a few buy-ins. And if you're playing recreationally and you're like, what, I'm going to the casino with $500, and if I lose it, I lose it, and that's only 1 buy-in to the game you want to play, 2 buy-ins to the game you want to play, that's fine. That's your decision. But if you want to play kind of longer term, whether it be semi-professionally or aspiring to be semi-professional and trying to break even for a while, you need to give some serious consideration to bankroll management. And essentially, the long and short of it is you need a lot more money than you think you need to withstand variance, even if you're a favorite in the game. And rounding out the list, okay, number 5, you're caring too much about what other people think of you at the table. A lot of people are embarrassed to make a river bluff that gets called and look stupid, or embarrassed to make a fold and get shown a bluff in front of everybody. Don't worry about people at the table judging how you play, especially if you're a good player. It's a good thing if people think you play badly. It's a great thing. people are going to make more mistakes against you. They're going to want to play with you more. And so you get more action. It's better if people have misinformation about how you play. Then there's no value in them thinking you're great unless you happen to own a training site and teach people how to play poker. But generally speaking, it's fine. It's fine if people think you're bad. Just embrace it and make the plays that you think you should make with no fear of judgment from other people, because what they think doesn't matter. It's your money to do with what you want.
Top 5 tips and tricks to never lose ever again.
Top 5 tips and tricks to never lose ever again, right? Okay. That's a bad one. I mean, it's basically don't play anything, and then you'll never lose ever again. And otherwise, you're out of luck because you're going to lose.